You know who our next guest is? Mr. Stylebender himself, Israel Adesanya, is coming off an impressive win over Derek Brunson at UFC 230 on November 3rd. Israel, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm gravy. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's about 11:30 a.m. your time. What are you up to? Where are you going right now?
I'm about to travel. I'm gonna go see my parents just down the line. But I just finished getting my memorabilia from MSG. I took it to the frame guy, my frame guy, so I can I set it up on my story, my Instagram story. So I'm gonna get it framed up. I'm gonna get my jersey framed up, and yeah, after that, get my car serviced, and then just Uber to the airport. It's life, man. Regular shit. Regular shit.
Yeah, you like it busy though. You like having sort of that chaos of a schedule and always keeping things interesting, right?
So, depends. I like my me time. I like my downtime, but right now I just need to get all this shit done so I can fully just relax.
Yeah. And let's talk about that fight at MSG. You get the first round finish over Derek Brunson. Simple question. I mean, could that fight have gone any better for you?
Uh, yeah, definitely. But I'm happy with the result. I'm happy with the way it panned out. I mean, this is it was history. It was history for me. My first fight at MSG, and probably won't be my last. But yeah, I was happy with the way everything the whole week. I think I handled everything from the media works, the weight cut to the fight itself, and then the post fight kind of media scrum as well. I handled everything like a champ. So yeah, let me know I'm in the right spot. I'm doing the right things, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep going.
Did that walkout feel any different than some of your other fights just with the fact it was at MSG?
Not really. No, it only felt different because I was more calm, I guess. Like at one point, I just, like I said, I felt like the Holy Ghost took over me. I wasn't even trying to I wasn't trying to like just strut like that. It just happened. Everything was just crazy. So yeah, I was so relaxed. And you can see the way he came in there. He was a dead man walking. He looked shook. So yeah, just another guy with gloves, and I had to whoop on him.
How did you celebrate it that night?
That night, just hung out at a pub with my family, my friend and families that came from Auckland uh, and Australia as well. Some of my friends came from there, but I just hung out with them, and yeah, it was cool. Just nothing crazy. And then we watched the fight at the pub at the pub as well. They were playing the fight at the pub, so that was the first time I got to see it. It was cool.
Yeah, no, I bet being in New York, getting to see your fight. Now, as far as this win, I mean, this was a finish in the first round. It's pretty hard to top some of your performances, but it looks like you did in this one. Was the feedback any different from the fans after this fight, just with the fact it was such a short fight?
Um, yeah, mixed. Those mixed reviews, but you take those things with a grain of salt. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, I don't really focus on them. It was just, yes, people were still like, oh, wait till he fights a top five guy because Bronson was only a number six. I'm like, there's always gonna be when I'm champ, when I'm reigning champ, there's gonna be something. There's always gonna be something. So I just have to take it with a grain of salt. Don't really focus on it.
Have you talked to the UFC since you won the fight?
Have I talked to the UFC? Yes, I have. I have talked to the UFC since.
Okay, and what did they say? Following the win in terms of the feedback they gave you.
They liked it. I mean, I did everything right. I did everything, even like on ESPN as well with Ariel and Chael. I was smooth with it. I was killing on the mic. I was still in the flow state. Excuse me. I was still in the flow state post fight, so everything was just easy to me. Like I was a vessel, and I was just getting these one-liners and these gems just getting dropped in me. It was beautiful.
I don't know if you got to catch it after your fight, or maybe you watched it after, but just your reaction to the Jacare Chris Weidman fight, where Jacare finishes him in the last round.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a good finish for Jacare. Um, I don't know where that puts him, but yeah, that was a good finish for him. I don't know what else to say.
You're a guy who's always looking ahead, but you must have had a chance this last week to sort of reflect on the year you've had as a newcomer in the UFC to finishing the year off with this KO over Derek Brunson. Have you been able to soak all that in yet? Just the success that you've had.
Yeah, definitely. I've been back at home in my nest and really just relished and thought about what I've accomplished. And I mean, not a lot of people get four fights in the UFC, not even in like 2 years, So for me, in less than a year, four fights, because I'm active, I'm smart, I stay injury free, and I'm winning. They knew what was up. They knew what they were signing up for. So I'm glad to be able to, yeah, reap the benefits.
And what's the plan for the rest of the year? I know you're looking towards 2019 as far as your next fight, but you got anything planned for the upcoming holiday season?
Even this morning, I don't know. I was gonna just chill and whatnot, but I'm already getting itchy feet and itchy knuckles. I'm already getting itchy knuckles, so I have to wait and see what coaches say. I've started training again. I went to the gym last night to help my man Dan Hooker, help him out with his fight with Edson. So I feel fresh. I feel fit. I did not. I I didn't take any damage. Well, I took more damage this time because I had to like mimic Edson. So yeah, I wasn't really able to play with Dan the way I normally do, or weren't able to go at each other the way we normally did. So I just put my body on the line for him. And yeah, I still felt fresh. I still felt fit. And it's just like, why waste this? I don't know. Why waste this? I don't know. I'll see what happens.
With that said, is there a particular card you're looking to fight on? Because I think if I'm the UFC, I'd put you on the same card as Whitaker and Gastelum.
That makes sense. But let me see. I'm still kind of things are still. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things happening. So I still have to like just chill, relax, and yeah, see what happens.
Okay. Do you feel like you've done enough though to earn a title shot? I mean, I don't know what else you need to accomplish at this point in terms of both your performances. You know, taking out a guy in Tavares and also taking out Derek Brunson.
Well, what's his name? Jacare said, he did it better than me. I beg to. He did it twice. That's it. I don't know if he did it better than me. I was way more efficient. Give me 2 seconds. I just park up. But yeah. I mean, my argument is he got beat by the two guys fighting for the title. He's been beat by Bobby Knuckles, and he's been beat by Kelvin Gastelum. So, that's my counter argument. And you don't want to see like the same old shit. You need something fresh. You need someone new. The division needs life. So I'm coming to bring life to the division.
No, I was gonna say, if you had to fight Jacare, how do you feel like a fight between you and him would go?
Oh, my way, of course. I mean, what else am I gonna do if I step in there? But yeah, I don't mind. I might do that one, but I really think the title. It just makes sense if Bobby Knuckles wins and I'm in the arena and I just stand across the cage from him. That shit sells itself. The All Black versus the Wallaby, and yeah, it just makes sense. Well, right now there's a lot of. I just feel, yeah, shit's happening. I'm honestly just taking everything in, and I've been going through my own metamorphosis again. So yeah, I see what's happening. I see everything that's happening, and I see how it's gonna pan out.
So it sounds to me like you're picking Whitaker in that fight. If you had to give your pick for the fight with him and Calvin Gastelum.
Yeah, definitely, I'll pick him in that fight. No, Kelvin's no joke, but just yeah, I'll give it to Whitaker. They both former welterweights as well, so imagine that.
Yeah, no, it's true. The way the weight classes work out. If you were to fight Whitaker, how do you feel like your skill set would match up against his?
How do you think? Come on.
Well, I'm just saying he's a striker. You're a striker. I mean, how do you solve that problem?
There's levels to the striking shit, as I've shown. Even when look at the fight when he fought Brunson. Look at the fight when I fought Brunson. It's MMA math doesn't always work out that way. Styles make fights, and I am Styles, so I'll make the fight my way. And that's I do everything the way I want to do it. I make them do whatever I want to do when I want them to do it. So yeah, his fight with him, I don't think he's a guy that's gonna be shook. I think he's a warrior. So yeah, it's gonna be skill for skill, and I'll pick.
And if Gaslam's able to pull this off, how do you feel like you would match up against him in that fight if that ever happened?
Same thing. Keep him behind my jab. He can try and wrestle me. Excuse me. He can try and wrestle me all he wants, but we see how that turns out. There's levels to this wrestling shit as well, but I barely tried with what's his name, Derek. I barely tried. I barely got out of second gear. I was just throwing everything from just precision at maybe 40 or 50%. So I barely tried. I wasn't gassed. I wasn't even tired. Barely broke a sweat. And that's a guy that everyone was like, ooh, I don't know. So same thing is always going to be that one with the next fight, with the next fight, with the next fight. So Kelvin, you guys will see. With Robert, you guys will see.
Sad news today. We found out that Stan Lee passed away. I saw your post on Twitter today. Just, your favorite memory of him, or maybe a favorite comic. What was sort of your reaction to all that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy that I have a lot of his characters, or maybe like characters that he gave platforms tattooed on my body. And it feels like, I don't know, it just made me think. it's weird, man, how someone's imagination can just like capture the whole world and inspire people and inspire a generation, you know. And he did a lot, you know, for veterans coming back from, you know, World War I, I think it was. He's done a lot for the culture. No, you know, like past comics and past, you know, all this shit. He's done a lot for the culture. So yeah, but for me, I'm not gonna say I'm like the biggest comic book nerd or like biggest Stan Lee fan, but I could just respect. I was just paying my respect, and best way I can. And that picture, the first one, me and Deadpool, that's crazy how they have that picture, and now I have that tattoo on my body. It links up. It's beautiful.
Uh, we had one of the best knockouts of all time this past Saturday at UFC Denver. Yair Rodriguez knocking out Korean Zombie. Where were you watching the fight, and what was your reaction when you saw that?
I was at home, and I had to go do my show, my online show, Frenemies with Dan, right afterwards, so we can talk about it. But yeah, that was crazy, and I see a lot of people saying that was a lucky knockout. Yeah, hold up. And like really smart people as well, people that are like legends in the game. You know, you can go through the comments and find out who it is. But literally, the example they gave was, well, he threw it twice beforehand. He threw it twice beforehand and failed. So this time he got it. And I'm saying it's instinct, it's timing, and knowing where the head's going to be, not where it's going to be. And his argument was, oh, well, he threw it twice beforehand and failed. Was that instinct and timing as well? You know, like shit happens. It's, you know, knockout, whatever. But I'm like, my counter argument is, hey, look, against even against Brad Tavares, in the beginning, the first round, I was throwing my jab. I was throwing my jab. I wasn't landing it. And then eventually from the second round, I bloodied up his face with my jab. And I started connecting my two. That's not luck. That's not luck. That is timing. That is trial and error. That is readjustment and resetting. But it bothers me when someone, as a, you know, like legends sometimes, or people in the game who are supposed to be really, really smart, go something off luck. A lucky shot, if I cover my eyes and throw something, and like, hopefully, I'm not even aiming at the chin, it hits. But this guy looked at him, ducked his head down. He couldn't see, but he knew where the head was going to be. He readjusted, and boom, hit him. That was sick. That was some Matrix type shit. Don't at me. That was not luck. I never believe in lucky shots. I believe in well-timed, precise strikes. And not everyone has it, but sometimes people get a hole in one. And that one, he failed twice, and twice, he nailed it.
Your reaction to the flyweight division, it sounds like they're done with that division. Just how did you find out, and what was your reaction and everything?
Sucks for my boy Kai, because he's about to fight in the flyweight division in UFC Adelaide. A guy who's worked so hard to get to this point to the UFC. And he's a flyweight, so, I mean, it sucks, you know, for him. But he's been bodying bantamweights for a long time. So this is in his first rodeo. And the UFC still has a bantamweight division, so he might have to move up and just change his skill set against different opponents. But, yeah, it sucks, and I think it's a bad move, you know. ONE FC should buy up the flight. If they take up Dimitri, get the rest of them as well. They've got money. I know they got that crazy Asian money, a rich money. So if they do and they want to compete with the UFC, buy the fucking flyweight division, get a lot of superstars, because even around Asia and Southeast Asia, there's a lot of tiny guys out there, and those fights are ridiculous. I don't know why the UFC's cutting it. I don't know. Maybe it's because they didn't market it well, whatever. But yeah, it just ONE FC should buy up like a lot of the flyweights from the UFC and Bellator as well, and really pump those guys, because they really put it on. They really put it on for the like just for the pugilist of MMA, if you will.
They announced now that TJ Dillashaw is actually dropping down to flyweight to fight for the flyweight title against Henry Cejudo. Just you're picking that fight, and what are your thoughts on them still having the title fight, even though the division's going to be gone?
I'll go TJ based off what I've seen in the past. But Henry's leveled up. See the way he handled Demetrius. See how we'll have to see. This is a new weight class for TJ. He hasn't fought at this weight class yet, so, and he's pretty ripped at bantamweight. So I don't know what his gas tank might be like. So it's a fight I have to look into. But artistry wise, this is martial arts. I'm about the arts. Fuck what Meryl Streep said. Art wise, I look at TJ. I love the way he flows, and I like his work. So I'm gonna go TJ with this one. But I can change. I'm gonna have a look at this fight in depth later on, and that can change.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Israel, it's always a pleasure catching up with you, man. I really appreciate the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you've got any other thank yous or shout outs, the floor is yours, sir.
That's to Engage. That's my clothing wear brand now. You know, I'm getting in there. I'm getting in bed with my mans. And yeah, don't at me or do. It's at Stylebender on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find my athlete page on Facebook as well. Just Google it or Instagram it, whatever.